during my journey with my doctor said, well, you have to live with these medications for the rest of your life. And that's just the way it is. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then three months after I came off of all of the meds, she kicked me out of her office.
I love
So
it.
we know what that practice was all about.
That's
Right.
when you know you got it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
When everything from the healthcare system to the economy seems corrupt and misaligned, what do? Well, our guest today is a client and friend who has battled both and come out victorious. Jeffrey Berger is here to share what it means to circumvent the system and embrace new ways to wealth in the modern world. He's also going to share all the details behind his journey through the BrandFace program.
Jeffrey, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We really have enjoyed working with you and also what you do, because it's very poignant in the world that we live in now, right? And you're at the spearhead of this. And so let's get into what the listeners want to hear. We like to start with our guests. Give us a little bit of a background, like what led you to be in this space?
Sure. So yeah, my journey is a roller coaster. I'm a baby boomer and went to school and got an education and found a supposedly a safe, secure job, and ended up being in software engineering for 27 years. But prior to that, I actually was in pre-med. That didn't align with me. Then I was a performer with the New York City Jazz Company in New York City for several years until I fractured my back, ending up in the software engineering field for 27 years. And the last 10 years of my professional career was not aligning with me personally, professionally, and I wanted more out of life. And ultimately in August of 2015 is when I left corporate America on a journey from total burnout. And with that, over the next couple of years, I was doing some soul searching. And in 2018, my doctor wanted to put me on the 6th medication. And I'm like, what? And she told me that, well, you're having problems with the other 5, so we need to put you on this 6th medication. And I'm like, no way. You have me leading down the same path as my father, who passed away from type 2 diabetes, heart disease, leg amputation, and 12 medications. So I said no. And it was around that time that I was actually introduced to holistic options, and I pursued that. I chose that alternative route. Long story short, 9 months later, lost 60 pounds, came off the 5 meds. I reversed my type 2 diabetes, and I reduced stress, anxiety, and depression that was at a 10 plus for decades down to a level 1. That was in 2019, and I am flying high in 2024. And the journey is just really getting evolved and branching out. So for about 4 years, I was a certified holistic wellness coach, focusing on the gut, brain, heart axis health, which is the microbiome, really teaching people about the significance of this amazing system to our body temple and what it means to really address the root causes and try to get away from those pharmaceuticals and work with plant-based protocol. And then about 2 years ago, another digression here in regards to my business journey is when the biggest problem for most of my students, if not all of them, were finances. Finances are the number one stressor in the world. Mm-hmm. I get it. I was there. And after having seriously gone through some major financial changes between 9/11 and 2008, which is the real estate crash here in the United States, it really impacted my retirement and had to do some major changes. And in 2023 was when another pivot came around, because my DBA is abundance and optimum wellness, where I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. I talked about everything except finances. Why? Because my finances were messed up. That all changed in 2023. And now, as a certified holistic wellness coach, I'm taking a finance first approach to achieving all encompassing personal well-being by enhancing new ways to wealth in the modern world.
Wow.
Oh, that speaks volumes, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. What you just said about I had all this dialed in, and that is huge, by the way, because coming off of five out of the 6 medications, unbelievable. But then you get to this point, it's like, okay, everything's great, but I'm still suffering over here. And that suffering impacts literally everything else around you. When you are not making it financially, you're not doing well financially, that just changes your life.
Exactly.
And I can absolutely see why the holistic, angle of this and where it all started medically and physically and mentally actually ended up to be, okay, unless you solve this financial issue, you're going to continue to have most of these other ones.
Exactly. And two other points I do want to bring out here is that during my journey with my doctor said, well, you have to live with these medications for the rest of your life. And that's just the way it is. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then three months after I came off of all of the meds, she kicked me out of her office.
I love
So
it.
we know what that practice was all about.
That's
Right.
when you know you got it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we could talk for hours on that alone, because Tanya brings it up all the time, because we all have like aging parents and loved ones and stuff, and thank goodness the ones that we're surrounded with, they're the same way. They're like, I'm not doing another medicine. There's got to be another alternative. There's got to be a better way to do it. And so maybe the social conscience is finally waking up a little bit, that we don't need to solve every problem with this a pill.
Absolutely. And you know what? Plants were put here for a reason.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to shift just for a moment, Jeffrey, because we talked about the system, the healthcare system being corrupt. Then you decide, okay, well, you know what? I got all this really dialed in now. Now the real problem is the financial, and I'm going to figure that out. And you did, right?
Right.
But talk a little bit, because I have the advantage, and Michael and I do, of knowing your story. So I'm going to prompt you here, because the next part of the corruption was the economic system, right?
Exactly. So, and I have no shame in sharing this, because I mentioned between 9/11 and 2008, I lost over 900,000 in the stock market. I was heavily invested into high tech and, all different types of high technical, because I was a software engineer. So that was where the money was coming in. And then in 2023, lost another 75,000. I'm like, please, Lord, send me, put me in front of somebody, or let me read something that's going to change that paradigm shift and get me in the right direction. And that is when I was introduced to international real estate fractional ownership. And I'm like, what is that? So I was skeptical. However, I was open. And I just took a step back, thinking back to when my doctor wanted to put me on a 6th medication. And I said, no. That's when I took control of my life, because we are in broken and corrupt systems that don't really work for us. And it's causing major havoc globally. So with this financial change, I was receptive to getting educated on the decentralization, or the tokenization of real estate. And that really involves the aspect of decentralization, because it's a distribution of power and control away from central authority, so we can have more control over our destiny. And by being open to that, it allows us to branch off and investigate new opportunities of the changing world, because the needs are changing. We need to evolve with that. And that's what really woke me up to the financial aspect of that whole paradigm shift. And then bringing that into my abundance and optimum wellness. Now my formula is complete because it's holistic mental and financial fitness is a new path to true wealth. And I don't say true wealth is financial. It's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial. So all of them are being met. The formula is working. And that's what I love about, circumventing the system, because you have to do it. Because if you stay within the current system, look at the world today. How many people are suffering?
So true.
Yeah, that's so true. And I identify, Jeff, so much with it because I know that feeling. I was a late 90s guy that, made all kind of money in tech because you could just close your eyes and throw a dart at it and then buy it. And then you made a bunch of money. And then we wake up in like 2000 and it's all gone. Right. And, and then, so I'm with you 100% on that. And then you're very forward on the fractional ownership and the tokenization of real estate, which I think is a super way forward. It allows people a little bit of a hybrid of that, right? They still get sort of like investing, on paper, but it's a fixed asset out here that is sellable, improvable, manageable. So I love the idea of it. It's fantastic. Yeah. And I really love it. Sorry, not to cut you off. I just love that that's a completing part of the holistic that you're providing.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that holistic is taking it away from the centralized into the decentralized. And what really grasped my, me embracing that opportunity, and thank God I became educated about it, because my first experience in the digital world cost $125,000 loss, and when I looked at this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a completely different program, a different paradigm, because it is real world assets. And you actually own a piece of a building, a piece of a hotel, a piece of a resort. And that really changed my way of thinking in regards to what many people have gone through in the decentralized, it's still evolving. There's a lot of growth potential there, and it will change. It will get, it's getting better, over the last couple of years as I've done my research and talking with industry, leaders around that.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
Mm-hmm. So fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about like the business, the brand of the business of the brand, right? So who's your ideal customer? Who do you serve?
So I'm really serving those entrepreneurs. I call them serial entrepreneurs. I call them entrepreneurs. It can be an individual who is sick and tired of being sick and tired of the current systems not working in their best interest. And they are pioneer thinking. They're trend-setting thinking. They're thinking of the future. What is changing in the future? What's happening right now that's going to change the paradigm in the future, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road? And those are the people who are open to getting information, to doing some research to see if fractional ownership is a potential product line that will diversify their portfolio. And it's those forward type thinking, because, we don't want to we can't go after everybody. So it's more of those forward thinking individuals, open-minded. Cynical, I don't want to deal with cynical. Skeptical, I was skeptical. Skeptical people leave their options open to say, well, maybe I should check this out because I'm not educated enough on it. Mm-hmm. So let me get educated. Is it a good fit? Yes. Great. Is it not a good fit? No, it's not. Great. You got educated and you made your own decision.
It's like our good friend Mike Asherbranner says, and Mike very well.
Oh,
he says,
Mike.
Yeah, that's right. He is the founder of the Hounds of Business Community. But he always says, I don't mind if you say no, but I really want you to know what you're saying no to.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, I've heard that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I love your definition of cynical versus skeptical, right? Cynical is like, it's not, I'm just going to make sure it's not a fit, right? But skeptical is, okay, my options are open. It's a healthy examination.
Yeah, cynical knows the cost of everything, the price of everything, but the value of nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the mentality there.
Yeah.
And I was a very cynical person before my before my transformational changes over the last, 6 to 7 years. So,
and that's part of, no doubt, the mental work you did on yourself too, as part of that
big
holistic
time.
process.
Oh, big time, big time. And I'm gonna plant this seed here. Doing the research that I've done, it really revolves around our current food, the FDA world. We're eating foods that are contaminated. They are filled with preservatives that affect this up here, which affect down there, and then causes havoc. And down the road, then you're put on medications, and it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious
couldn't agree more.
Listen, we may have you back on sometime to just talk about that topic for sure.
Okay.
Because it's that important. It really
Big
is.
time.
Well, I just tell everybody that the secret of my success has been just listening to her. And that's another thing she taught me. And we'll talk about that another time. But she definitely won me over. I was just a meat and potatoes man because I thought that's what you're supposed to be, but it's not. And there's better ways to do it. And those better ways will give you more years of life. And I'm a true believer in that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so true. We will talk about that later too. Tell me, just like in a sentence or two, Jeffrey, what is it that sets you apart from everyone else who's also trying to impact the lives of your same ideal customer?
I think here I wrote down a couple of things, and I knew you were going to ask me that.
You're welcome to use your cheat sheet. I'm proud that you wrote it down.
I want to be able to specifically state what has worked with me in regards to working with BrandFace, and the incredible change that has really helped me catapult in more ways than one, because I've stepped further into my uncomfortable zone, which is where you grow. So what sets me aside from competitors by conveying a message of innovation, of challenge, and thinking outside of the box. It's circumventing the system. You got to think outside of that box. It resonates with a specific audience seeking to break free from conventional norms and embracing change. Again, that is, thinking out of the box, being open to alternative options, forward thinking. Then the bold and unconventional nature of my brand makes it memorable and easily recognized. I've never seen anybody out there with circumvent the system. And then finally, it sparks curiosity, which has been, I would say, the last 3 to 4 months, more and more people are reaching out. And I will say this: when I started with you guys, my LinkedIn followers was about coming up to 4,000, and it's now over 8,000 or close to 8,000. So that's been astronomical.
Incredible.
So it sparks that curiosity and encourages more to engage in deeper levels. So more and more people are reaching out and willing to speak more in depth about their personal experiences, which is what it's all about. It's about sharing and providing value and something different.
I love it. You articulated that so well, Jeffrey. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let's back up to why you came into the BrandFace program in the first place. What was happening?
Yeah. So there was a lot of things happening. I mean, I was leaving looking at the situation in 2023 with my coaching business, and then the financial aspect of it, because that was the missing piece of it. I had to do some really heavy duty thinking. And, I've worked with a couple of coaches, but I knew I needed something different that was going to get me to the next levels. Okay. And I'm going to read this because this has been important to me. I wrote down 15. I'm going to give you 4 key components to, what the success that I've had since December. All right. So I got to a point in my business where I felt that utilizing a branding expert when undergoing this new branding transformation, because it was a transformation, for ensuring a cohesive and impactful transition in the eyes of attracting new customers. So I'm attracting new customers because I was working with coaching students on gut health. So that's a whole different shift in the consumer end. I wanted a branding expert who can help identify and target a unique audience, circumventing the system, and that aligns with my new brand direction, maximizing the effectiveness of marketing efforts, which goes back to me leaving the Western medicine world. And I do want to add this in here. I don't totally take away from the Western medicine world. When I'm passing a kidney stone, give me that morphine, baby.
Amen.
I don't want to feel that pain. And I used to produce kidney stones like rabbits. But there's a time and place for it. I didn't need to be on metformin for 25 years.
Right.
Okay. I was looking for someone with the expertise who can guide the development of a strong brand identity that resonates with the desired audience, ultimately leading to increased brand loyalty and market success. And then in a rapidly changing world, because I'm going to be 70 in 2 months. So I don't got a lot of time. I'm pushing to go over 100, but that's still not a lot of time. But in this changing business landscape, the insights and strategies provided by a branding expert can be instrumental in standing out and staying relevant. And this has been proven with the successful journey that I've had with BrandFace in this profitable brand blueprint report that was first delivered to me after my initial conversations with you. And it's only getting better. So I'm enjoying the journey. And to be transparent, in the beginning, I was scared, you know what? And I really kind of followed some of the things that you were doing for about 2 months before I actually connected. So, and then felt very comfortable. So I'm happy I made the choice. And yeah, it's been a fun journey, and I can't wait to see where it's going to take me, through the rest of this year and over the next couple of years.
Thank you for those kind words. And,
Yes.
and it is just getting started. I mean, because
Absolutely,
we're going to continue to work with you in
Yeah.
every way possible because you wear that so well, and the brand is you. And that's so important.
It is. I want to say something about being scared to death. It's pretty common, right?
Yeah.
I don't try to scare people, and Michael doesn't either, but it's just a part of when you come into a process like this and you think, okay, this is going to transform so much of what I'm doing, and you have to dig deep in all of that. It is on the front end. I've had many people say, okay, I'm so excited about this, but I need you to know I'm scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always say, hey, you and everybody else that's ever come in the doors, it's all right. We've got you. Right?
Yeah, me included. I was a client first, and me included.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that story.
Yeah, you got to hand it over to somebody, and you're like, man, I sure hope they know what they're talking about. And she did.
Right.
And she keeps proving it over and over
well,
again.
Tanya, you've got so much experience, in the selling industry and the radio and the TV, so you bring that accumulation of all of that experience and doing door-to-door sales. I think so many of us have done that to where you are today. You've developed a very, very unique branding business. And I'm just very, very thankful because I've looked at 4 or 5 others over the last 2 years. And I'm like, I didn't get a gut feeling. So I just kept moving. And then ooh, BrandFace.
That's very nice.
You're going to make me cry.
Very nice.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
And Jeffrey, I got to put this out there because you hit on something right there about her experience level leading that. And that's exactly what you have brought to build out your brand.
Yes.
That is what makes you so valuable in that space because you're a living example of that. And you've got all of these years of experience that have honed that expertise. And
in
then
all 5 areas.
And it was already there.
Exactly.
She's just incredible at polishing the star. It's already in you. You had already lived those experiences to put you in those positions, self-aware enough of what you were doing, and then a heart to share that with other people. And so it was easy to just build the suit around that. because you have all the goods you've already brought onto the table. So
no, thank you. And thank you so much, because, with this rebranding, it has allowed me, being a global ambassador for this international real estate fractional ownership company. I'm actually spearheading the launch here in the United States, North America. I am still working globally because I've got partners out there as well, but more so here in the United States, because this is a paradigm shift that is happening now underneath our feet, where people don't realize what's going on. And it's a matter of providing the value, getting education out there, bringing awareness, so people can say, oh my gosh, this is something new. Maybe I should look into this, and, bring that forward, because this is a very unique opportunity. And I'm just truly blessed that this rebranding has really helped catapult me, especially over the last 3 months. I can't keep up with the people reaching out to me at this point. So maybe it's time to hire a VA. I don't know.
I love it.
There you go. There you go.
That's what we want to hear.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Growth already is amazing. And Jeffrey, I got to say, from a personal standpoint, one of the reasons you're growing like you are is your huge heart.
Yeah.
It's just apparent with you. And I've just adored you since the first time I met you. I know I don't always say that, but this is the point where it's like, oh, you're an incredible human being. And I thank you for having the confidence in us to take you through this journey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And so many people need help. And I want to help people and give them a different perspective, because there is hope out there, because I was looking for hope back in the medical, aspect. I don't want to be on meds. So there is hope. It's a matter of finding it in the right place, because we are not getting all of that information in all of the channels that are available out there. There's certain things that are being held from the majority or the masses. So, and that's part of our vision here, is those of us who are out there that want to help make change for the betterment of humanity, because we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And most people are not.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is and your financial first approach is really the one thing that I think, wow, that's so unique from everybody else, because if you can get that dialed in,
right,
the rest of it seems a little bit easier, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, tell the audience how they can get in touch with you.
So I am on, I have my website, jeffreyeberger.biz. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on LinkedIn. And everything is really Jeffrey E. Berger, whether it's a Jeffrey.E.Berger or Jeffrey E. Berger. Just look for the bald-headed dude and you'll find me.
In the very dapper tux, I might add, or a suit.
There you go.
Your branding images were absolutely beautiful. And also, we're going to show on the screen right now. We'll have a QR code. You guys can scan that and go straight to Jeffrey's contact page. So,
and I'd also, if I can add this little plug too, because I do have my own syndicated TV series. And that is being rebranded for next season to Embracing New Ways to Wealth in the Modern World, from holistic mental and financial fitness. So I'm excited about that new shift because I'm entering my sixth season. So I'm excited about that.
As well, you should be.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yes. And congratulations on your journey and your success, Jeffrey. And it's only going straight up from here. So thank you.
Thank you. See you, everybody.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at BrandFaceGuide.com.